Alright, I'm going to take a crack at these glow plugs now. I've been putting silicone in there off and on and driving the car. I have a heater underneath here to heat it up, but I'm in Houston, so it really isn't necessary. But you may have to heat things up a little bit if you've got problems with all your glow plugs. So I'm going to take the offending one out first and then hit the rest of them too, because I want them all to be equal. I don't know what was in there before, and I'm going to put the Bosch in mine. And the reason why, I think that's going to be less stressful for that relay, because they are a little bit higher resistance, but I think it compensates as long as they are all equal. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The objective is to do this without breaking any of them, and the silicone was supposed to loosen things up. There is a video on my YouTube channel down there in the playlist that kind of describes how to do it, and you might want to look at that. Go to Magnolia space V12 and you'll see that, and that basically outlines how you need to do this. So with no further ado, I'm going to try this here, get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take this thing out and get the engine up to operating temperature before we start removing these. I've got this set up. I've got this thing set up. Here is the specifically designed 10mm wrench. I've got an extension on it, and I have a torque wrench that reads in both forward and backwards direction. And the reason for that is you don't want it to take any more than 25 Newton meters to start loosening. If it's tighter than that, then according to the manual, there could be a problem. So, like I said, we're going to start this thing by heating this thing up to operating temperature. And we're going to start removing these. Okay, I'm not going to say this was easy, but I got the last one out. I had to remove the fuel lines again, so I got to redo all that just to get this one out. I had another one that was a SOB too. The other four came out easy, but I did manage to pull them all out without breaking them. I'm not going to say that was easy. It wasn't. Okay, the power company doesn't seem to know how to keep the power on, so I'm going to redo this. Anyways, that's some of the garbage that was on the threads of one of them. That's just a start. It's going to take the same scrupulous cleaning that I had to do on the injectors. Now you can still see the silicone. The silicone did soak in there. It did loosen it up enough to where I could get it out. I don't know if I can focus this thing, but you can see the silicone down here mixed in with the carbon. Alright, rather than drilling into a glow plug and making something, I think this will work here. I put a stopper on it about a little bit longer than the glow plug, and so I'll try that. Alright, this bit with the stopper on it did the trick. I could definitely feel it in there, and it dropped down once I cleaned it out. So there was carbon in there, and I still have to brush it all out and clean and vacuum in there. Probably do that tomorrow, so that I can basically hand thread those other new glow plugs in. That's how clean I want to make that. Should be. Okay, I'm getting ready to pre-grease all these and put them in. But I was going to show you something else on here. I don't know why they did that in the box. These were the tools I used to clean it. I used that for the threads. This one, that's on my drill, back and forth on the threads themselves. And then to get way down in there, I used these, and there is another one that I used, if I can find it, here. This one here, to get down where the tip is. This is a very small, this is just slightly larger than the tip. And I already showed you that drill thing, because that carbon was pretty hard in there. If it wasn't for that silicroil, I probably would not have been able to get this stuff out without that silicroil, as soon as I can get it in front of the camera. Without this stuff, I'd been putting it in there for days, running the car, putting it in, letting it soak down in there per that video, that NGK video, and that got them loose enough to where they couldn't break anyways when I pulled them out, but some of them were very tight, and it just took a while to get them extracted, but they did come out, and I avoided a disaster. So I'm going to get started on greasing these, pre-greasing them with the same Mercedes grease I used on the injector hold down bolts. $22 tube of grease there from the Mercedes dealership. I'm going to pre-grease all 6 of them. The reason why I'm replacing all 6, I don't know what was in there before. It specifies that if you had Bosch in there before, use Bosch. If you had the Barus, use those. But I don't know what was in there before. That's why I took them all out, and I'm replacing all of them. Pre-greasing all this with anti-seize. Alright, I'm going to grease the rest of them and put them in. 19 Newton meters is the torque, and I'll have to put my fuel lines back in because I had to take those out in order to get some of the wire trough out of the way, especially in front of one of the glow plugs. So once I get that, I'll go to replacing my fuel filter, and that should be it for now. Okay, I've got them all in. I'm going to use the CRC cleaner to clean the contacts on the caps there that go on those before I finish installing everything. Then I'm going to put all my fuel lines back in because I did have to take this wire trough out, and not out, but pull it up to get it out of the way of a couple of these glow plugs. So next part will be replacing the fuel filter, and then I'll start this thing up again. I'm going to have to prime it again, and like I did with the injectors, and that should be it. Alright, well, here we are with Mr. Crow's Foot again on those fuel lines. 27 Newton meters. I got it all set up already. I'm going to tighten those back up. Alright, we're back to running the new fuel filter. new glow plugs, new injectors, new serpentine rack, new oil filter, all the maintenance that wasn't being done before. And the air filter was replaced too, and that's the reason why the injectors went in the first place. You gotta keep changing that air filter.